and welcome everybody. Welcome to another Startup Tuesday. We are here to share our knowledge from our combined years of experience in multifamily. And I'm Kimberly Scott, aka ThatKimberly, and this is
It's Deb to Ruin.
Deb to Ruin. So Deb, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so we're going to talk about selling our product and services and also give some resources and just have an open discussion about it as well as a couple little fun videos.
Cool. But before we do that, we just want to make sure everybody knows that we are live on Facebook, both Deb's personal page and that Kimberly's Facebook page, the business, YouTube, and the LinkedIn. So wherever you're watching them, please, if you have a question, leave us a question, tag whoever the question's for, or tag both of us. If you watch this on the replay, because it sits up there, just put in hashtag replay and where you watched us from. If you have a question, make sure you tag us so that we can answer that question. And or if you have a question during the live, we want to hear it. And please ask the question. So I think, did I cover everything?
Yep, you covered it all. We're good. We're ready.
Okay.
Also, yep. Also, feel free to engage with us, ask questions.
Yes, like this lovely lady, Caroline. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
So this is just a recap of what we have gone through and episodes you can go back and see. But like Deb said, today is selling your product and or services in multifamily. So let's see if my page down will work. Maybe not today. Here we go. First thing, setting up your sales infrastructure. Yes. What do you think? Why do you think we would want to do that, Deb?
We want to be prepared for the future.
Yes.
We want structure.
Yes.
And we want things to be clear. Yes. So we need to structure that properly.
It saves a lot of headaches for the future for sure. And it also, and we didn't do this in the beginning. So I'm just going to tell you from experience that your sales team, that when you do hire them, when they come in, will love you for it. Right.
Right.
Because you know what it's like.
Yes. Everybody wants to know what their lane is and where their boundaries are. And I think being super clear about that in the beginning is very, very important. So it saves a lot of problems in the future between team members and, all of that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So please do that. And that starts with the CRM. And we're definitely going to be giving you some more recommendations around CRMs and more resources, but it definitely is a CRM and maybe an organizational tool, right? Whether it's Teams or things of that sort. But you definitely want to set up that infrastructure. So like Deb hit it on the head, you said, so everybody knows, what lane they're supposed to stay in, as well as what the overall objectives are, right?
Right. And also, I think getting a good CRM involved in your structure in the very beginning, you can start tracking, progress from the very beginning. You can just, there's so much for you to capture from the get-go. So setting that up and setting those goals and those boundaries are very important.
Yeah. I didn't even, hindsight's 2020. So just take our word for it. It will make everybody happier.
Be organized. Have the proper tools. Just having everybody create like a random Gmail address. Gmail's great. They have a G Suite, platform, like with all the things you need for business, and everything is there that you need for sharing, for chat, for everything. So,
and it masks your URL address so that they're not sending it to an email that's like deborah.druin@gmail. It's actually whatever you want it to be, or oneappguarantee.com. So whatever your domain is, folks. So
So as far as macro and micro goals, what's your feedback on that?
Well, it was just that
What did you live and
like
learn?
your overall, so for
Mhm,
macro, it's like the growth of the company, the
mhm,
it helped us report back to our investors, all of that. So it kept everybody on the same page when it came to expenses and revenue, and how much we needed to sell to be able to profit. So, and as far as micro goals, it helps for you to see if your sales team is working, if your pitch is working, if everything that you're doing is working for, your yearly, for your yearly goals, quarterly goals, monthly goals, whatever it is. So those would be your micro goals. But
mhm.
setting up a sales infrastructure is 100% something that
You need to
is
do it in the very beginning.
for sure. Even if it's just you, it doesn't
Right,
matter.
and always know that it's gonna change.
Yeah,
It's gonna constantly change, and that's okay because
yeah,
as you grow, like, that's gonna happen, so
100%. Okay. Next thing, it, uh, and again, this is from an article that we have been dissecting, piecing from other resources that has been on HubSpot. So, um, you also, once you've set up your sales infrastructure, you want to identify your sales goals.
Mhm, right, right.
Right?
So,
Don't you
yeah,
love
like
getting
setting
hired and they
mhm.
don't give you any goals?
Yeah,
Deb?
right? I know, no, we are all about our KPIs.
Yeah.
So, we have a lot of them.
Yes,
Mhm,
absolutely. And it's important because that's how everyone in the organization should measure their return on investment, which it
mhm,
means your ROI, right?
exactly,
If
right.
you're not having if you don't have that set up, then you don't know. You don't know how
Mhm,
much revenue you need to even get to your break even point,
mhm.
and how to hit your sales targets. How many sales do you need? It almost goes, you know, one affects the other always. So if you're not having those
And
conversations,
everyone in every role has their own, they should have their own set of KPIs.
100%, you're absolutely right.
Mhm,
And just on a simple scale, um, I know that Deb and I had a conversation about, but I thought I would throw this graph that I found on Z Google up that talks about, these are the dollars over here on the left hand side. I'm just gonna, maybe, will that even work? Hold on a second, see if I can mark it. Oh, look, yeah, I can. So right here, these are dollars, right, that you're spending, right, to get these sales. And then here, these are the, right here are the units. Let me do this again and do yellow again. And these are the units, right? So bad drawer, but units meaning whether it's a product or it's a
mhm,
contract
mhm,
sales that you
mhm,
need to be able to get to this point. So when these two meet, that's your break even point, right? And
mhm,
everything else over here starts to become, in this area, your profit. So very important that people understand that.
mhm. Right, for every role. I mean, look at it with every sales role has
Mm-hmm.
its yeah.
100, because we used to always present it that this is how you're paying for yourself, plus how we're going to be able to pay you commissions. So
Mhm,
if you don't uh, propose it like that, it might not get through, because the whole purpose of having salespeople is to sell,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
um
And that's why your CRM is so important.
yeah.
Your CRM will give you all the data. Hopefully, if you put everything, if you're tracking properly, it will give you everything you need to look at those KPIs
Hmm.
and determine what's working for you or what's not working.
Yeah. And as well as the matrix, not, I take that back, as well as keeping all your contacts and follow-ups in one place, right? That
Mhm.
CRM makes it really, really simple. Most of them do now, where you're like, oh, I haven't touched this person in 5 days, let me shoot them an email. Oh,
Mhm.
I talked to this person last week, let me
Yes.
go ahead and call them.
Yeah,
Or
it's the ultimate management tool. So
yeah.
don't be cheapskate and make sure that you are getting a CRM from the get go to organize. your company structure, your
Absolutely.
sales team.
Yeah, it's only going to make your world better, right? It's only going to
Absolutely.
make the and also reporting, right? You can pull reports. Don't you hate to pull or have to change an Excel spreadsheet because then somebody else might not have changed that cell properly, or you might have lost a formula, or who knows, when it comes to Excel spreadsheets. That's not a great way to manage your contacts or your sales.
Right.
Correct? Would you not agree?
Oh, totally agree.
What's the just off the top of your head, I know you said once what your sales, you guys use Zoho.
We use a Zoho CRM.
Okay. Do you like that better than anything you've ever used before? Because I know you used a lot of them.
Yeah. Like it gets the job done. I mean, there's definitely like, I think Zoho is a great tool, and it's priced good.
Right.
For for the startup, I believe, as opposed to Salesforce is great.
Yeah, well, Salesforce is the
Phenomenal,
mega. Yeah,
that's the big one. So
expensive too,
yeah,
and it's expensive. Yeah,
very expensive. So yeah, but Zoho's been good. And Caroline says HubSpot.
Oh yes, Caroline, we agree. I've definitely used HubSpot, and they are easy to use tool. They've had a lot of integrations since we use them, actually. So they have but they have a lot of bundles, different sets. So I think they've even though they went up in price, a little bit pricier than than most startups would want to, if they didn't find value in a CRM. I do feel that HubSpot can give you a couple different combinations where you don't need everything, right? If you don't want to pay for that.
And even Michelle, love the feedback. Zoho is great. Yes, it has its limitations, but a good tool and priced affordably. Absolutely.
Thanks, Michelle. We agree. We agree with you.
We agree. It's a good one. But I'm hearing more and more people, more sales folks getting in on, especially in multifamily HubSpot. I'm hearing it more within our industry. So that's been interesting. I haven't seen it yet.
We were I think we used HubSpot because of I can't remember who the product was, who their competitor was that we went over to check out. That's kind of how we found them, because we used one called Sugar that was very, very antiquated. I don't even know if they're still around. Sorry, Sugar. But then we found HubSpot, and then we found Hatchbook, which I think Hatchbook got purchased, but they're both of those, HubSpot and Hatchbook, really great products. Okay. So, but I always heard great things about Zoho. And Michelle, you're so cute. Yes, we agree with you. She says
someone finally agrees.
Finally agrees with me. Yes, we agree. But try them out, people. Don't take our word for it. This is we're telling you, there's stuff out there. Please go find it. Right, to make your life easier. And then third, once you get all that, if it's just you got to go into hiring.
Yes, which I'm doing right now.
Are you? So so this is great. Then how did you start? Who and what? Where did you start looking?
Well, we did the ads, the major platforms. Yeah. But our industry is very relationship driven, so there's been a lot of just reach outs and conversations and networking. I've relied on that probably for for some of the best candidates that I've come across. It's hard out there to hire right now. I think everybody can speak to that. It's funny because one of the things that I will say when I'm networking with people is I'm looking for good salespeople, send them my way. And it's basically like, good luck. So are we and everyone else. So, it's definitely, there's a lot more grassroots effort being put into this, definitely, as far as getting the candidates in front of us. So, I'm seeing more movement after the first of the year, which I expected. People aren't trying to make a jump during the holidays. So we'll see what 2022 holds.
Yeah, for sure. And, like you said, the networking, LinkedIn is a great place to do that reach out. And LinkedIn actually has a good, where you can post very inexpensively or free. They give you some free listings that integrate with other hiring sites. I just helped a client do this, and now I'm going blank as to what the other site came up through LinkedIn, but it's just a networking. Is how you find people, as well as checking their references, right? Or following up. That's a huge thing, is following up on references on top of whoever they give you, right? Don't give them
your homework. Do your homework.
Yes.
In social media, I mean, you said LinkedIn. I mean, that is basically a social media tool, but for business. But just putting everything, like throwing it out there on social media. I've gotten some good phone calls. So
yeah, absolutely. And one little tip I learned from my experience is asking them who will return your phone call and make an appointment with you in 30 days. So when you're in that, during that interview process, we all want to believe, we all know that we put our best foot forward, but when you're going through the interview process, you need to ask that question, not who you know, but who knows you and will return your phone call in 30 days.
Right.
Very, very important.
That's a huge question for me. I want to know who that is for you. I mean, if you're bringing yourself to the table and you've shined off your resume and you've told me that you can do all of these things and you have connections, then you shouldn't stutter over that question.
Yes.
Which has been interesting to watch, but it's true. Like depending on what what you're hiring in sales. Like if you're needing an industry veteran that's going to be able to ramp up in a shorter period of time, they should be able to have that book of names and contacts to help set them up. But also too, depending on what where your level of sales is, who your target decision maker is, also matters what you're looking for. I've interviewed some really great people who they have great connections at a level that just isn't going to help them with, necessarily with this product. Not that it couldn't in the long term, but I don't have a year for someone to ramp up.
So let me break this down. So you're saying like somebody who for your product, for example, and residential waste product also, they're at a C-suite or higher, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And
so if you come in, but
so if they had only supervisor, or they only had a property manager or maintenance supervisor's contacts, that wouldn't work. They could, I mean, it would, but like you said, they would make the introduction for you, but then you'd have to get to know that regional that then puts you to the owner, and
it will make the sales cycle much longer for me.
Go. I just wanted to, because and know that if the level of contacts and connections also, that goes with how much you're going to pay them. Like the Rolodex, people that have deep Rolodexes and long standing relationships that people do return their phone calls, like you're going to pay them a little bit more, or you're going to give them a bigger commission if you can't pay them a higher base, but have those conversations with people, because if you
it's important to know where you're going to put somebody. And the last thing that I ever want to do is set someone up to fail, because let me just back up. My KPIs are created off of, this all ties in together. So if I need to get my ROI on that salesperson in this amount of time, I need to be realistic as to the level of contacts that person has in order to pull that off.
Yeah, 100%.
And, as we grow and we continue to hire more people and more roles, that will open up my pool to other people that have other contacts. And, so it's all, sometimes it's just like, for right now, these are my needs and my goals right now. And I have a plan, and I know where my KPIs are to make it happen.
100%. And last but not least, we're going to play this quick little video. This is actually from a gentleman that he's a smart businessman. He grew his company from him and his brother to over 1,000 people and several different offices. Gary Vee, he's a very smart businessman and smart investor. So listen to what I'm going to unplug.
Do your headphones. You can't hear.
Hold on a second. Can you hear it now?
I got really good high. I don't.
Start it over.
I am.
How do you self-awareness?
Yeah.
How do you recognize that in a 10 to 15 minute interview? How do I know that the person I'm going to hire is?
I don't.
Dang it, Gary.
I got really good hiring advice. Learn to fire fast. If you guys, especially for what you guys do for a living, I did it. I used to pay people $9.50 an hour, $12.50 an hour stock guys at liquor store. I did it. I did what you did for a long time in my life. Everybody has their ego tied up in hiring. You guys have your ego tied up in your hiring. You think you're so good at hiring. And then you hire somebody and they're shit, but you make pretend they're not because firing them admits that you were wrong. So it's your own ego that's holding you back. My ego is only balanced by my humility. I hired somebody for hundreds of thousands of dollars the other day, 6 months ago. I interviewed him 3 times. 3 times. That's a lot of time for me. I fired him 1 day into working at VaynerMedia.
Wow. So can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So that is definitely something we learned the hard way. And it wasn't because of ego for us. For us, it was because of resources to hire a new person, right? We definitely kept people there longer. We wanted to give them a chance, all of that. Like, and the longer we went, the easier it got to let people go when we would like, hey, if you're not meeting these goals in 60 days, then we know it's not a win-win for both of us, right? You know,
right.
We put expectations on it, but it is definitely something that if I could go back, I would do again. I would fire quicker.
I spent 6 months.
Here's something
to
else.
Find the person that, and this was the order of what mattered to me. First, emotional intelligence. When I tell you that I don't respect talent, it would upset you. It's stunning when I run my business how secondary pure talent is to people skills. This notion that some creative is so fucking special that they can be a douchebag and fuck up the entire place is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I'm very unpopular in tech land. I did it again at South by where I was like, fuck Steve Jobs. I don't want to run a business where being mean brings the best out of. I don't give a shit if you're a creative genius. Fucking act like a normal person, you asshole. I believe continuity trumps everything. Continuity, you know, it's just like sports. A team that stays together usually beats a team with superstars that were put together for 1 season. And I believe that. And I love continuity at Vayner. We have enormous continuity already for a young company, and I want to keep it forever because I give a shit. Rice is now living in London. Like,
so that is a great, and just for the sake of time, I highly recommend you going and finding those videos. All you gotta do is put Gary Vee, how do I hire the right people, or Gary Vee, the first quality you look for when hiring. But he gives great advice from his own experiences that I would highly, highly recommend listening to, because he's right on the money. You know, you can't say it any better, right? I wish I would have learned that sooner.
And I would I never even thought about it that way. And I'm sure that a lot of people would argue with that or have a lot to say about that. But I do see the value in that, definitely. I mean, that's also too, like with my hiring strategy, like making sure that I've got the right people with the right contacts so that I don't have to fire fast.
Yeah, you don't have to babysit, right? We're adults. If you're not doing your job, then and you're not happy, as you know, we always used to propose it as we want this to be a win-win for both of us. So we're gonna throw all the things at you so you know what to expect. We're not gonna throw them once you get here. We're gonna tell you in advance so you know what to expect. And they definitely like needed to, because we were 20 people. We want the culture to remain non-toxic, right? So if you get a bunch of, doesn't matter talent, if they got deep contacts, whatever, if they're butt heads,
they're not good people. Yeah.
Then you don't want them. You don't want them around. So it's times are changing. So I know a lot, there are people who would disagree, but I think there are more people out there now
would agree.
Right. That would agree. So,
right.
So the last is
selling or get more out of your sales activities. Yes. So definitely, I mean, do your research.
If the product or the service can even be sold to that company or that management company, you don't want to waste their time. You don't want to waste yours, right?
You want to find out if you're solving a need for them. You want to find out who your decision makers are. You want to, you've got to do a lot of discovery. And then you've got to create your awareness and generate your leads.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and
getting your brand, your message out there, your company out there, whether it's like trade shows or, networking.
Or your emails, within your own emails. If you're cold calling people, you want to make sure you leave a pretty picture. Your signature line is awesome. That, have your picture, have all the other ways they can reach you, and have all your social media in there, right? Very, very important.
Right.
When you make contact with people.
Submitting proposals.
Yeah. One, meeting with them and making sure when you present to them that you don't have to, this is a lesson I learned.
Totally skip that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But when you meet with them, like you said, you would already know everything that they need, but you present your options, no more than, we always say 3. I don't know how you guys did it, but and then you can customize things later, because if you give them too many things to think about, it blows their mind, right?
Well, and that's just the sales 101. And you can even go back to training within like leasing. When you have somebody that comes in and they want a 1-bedroom apartment, you should dive in a little bit more to what their needs are, because you may be on that property that has 10 open 1-bedroom floor plans.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Well, you've just created yourself a good 2 days of touring, because, now they're going to need to see everything. They want to make the right choice. You're the one that's knowledgeable.
Yeah, for sure.
You need to find out what their needs are. And then from there, you can dial it down. Yeah.
And present how your company is going to solve whatever pain point that they have, and be mindful in your presentation. Don't do all the speaking, right? Have a section where you ask questions, whether you know the answers or not. Ask the questions about them, then present what your product is, get whatever questions they have about that product, or service, and then have a contract with you. Leave it so they can look at it. It doesn't mean, if you get lucky, you might walk out with it. However, leaving it with them is not a bad thing, right? Especially if they say we're interested, then absolutely leave them with them.
I like that.
Yeah. And then if you have to customize the proposal, you can definitely, send them a thank you when you leave, after you've left, and then customize and send a customized proposal to them so you can win that business.
Yes. So, win it and then do it again.
Repeat, people.
Win, repeat. Win, repeat. All right. We are running out of time. What do we have?
I know. So here's a list of those resources. Let me see if I can zoom in on it, because if I take us out, then.
And a lot of these are the same resources we show every week.
Except for the email signature line was one that HubSpot highly recommend. The sales templates, and then also sales calls, the script. This was a website that I Googled. I'm going to show you real fast. Can you see it?
Yep.
That gives you amazing, and Deb, you're going to chime in on this because you agreed with these folks, that when you have a template script of emails, you can, it was called Cyrus Insights. And like this, just cold calling, introducing your company, 3 nice wide lines, 4, and asking them who you are, what you do, how you can help them, and are you available? Here's my calendar.
Right. You really should keep it simple. And and I say that more than ever, like, use bullet points, be simple, because, everyone is emailing now. Everyone, thanks to the pandemic, and it's, inboxes are flooded, and no one wants to read your 4 paragraphs.
Correct.
To learn about your business.
They won't.
Nope. They're going to delete it. So do yourself a favor. And just keep it simple.
Yes. There's one more resource that I put on here that I forgot to mention last time was loom.com. So you can create a for free 1 to 3 minute video explaining. It's an explainer video of your own. Like, so it'd be either, if you want your face to be on there, it can, but it'll be your voice going through your presentation or taking them, answering more questions, right? Or it could just be the image and you talking. It's a video.
Mm-hmm.
So loom.com. If you pay for it, it's 5 minutes or more. It's awesome. But it's a way for you to either present your product in a more like
visually
appealing, right? And or answer questions to your proposal. So that's something that we didn't have there on before. But if you're not sure, if you have you need a software to solve one of your solutions, OMG, Google is our mother. That's what Gary Vee always says. And it's true. Google's your mother.
It's
so yeah, for sure. Thank you, Kelly.
She said truth.
Yes. I don't know if that was to the email about making your email short and sweet.
It was.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was.
I know that's why I can get a reply from her.
Putting in the headline is sometimes what I do too.
That's one question.
Yeah, just one. But it's important because time, effort, energy. We definitely know that we're busy people. So come on, folks, let's not draw it out. And Google, if you need that software, go out there, top 10 softwares of whatever, and get outside the box. There's plenty of free options that eventually get you to the paid option, but free is not always good. So just Google it.
Yep. So I think we're good. So we should wrap up.
Yep, we're wrapping up. We will be here next week. We will be at NMHC. So we won't be here next Tuesday, but we'll be back the following Tuesday. Deb, you know what date that is? I'm just going to say thanks to Brandon. Thanks. We appreciate it.
And also thanks, Jamila Ross.
Yes.
Thanks for being on. We appreciate it. And then, as always, ask your questions. Bree, if there's something that you want to talk about, you want to learn about, let us know, and we will dig into it. So,
yes.
But we will be back on, let's see, it will be the 25th of January.
Yes, for sure.
All right.
Okay. Well, have a great day the rest of the week.
Yep. And enjoy your week.
Yeah. Until two Tuesdays from today. Sharing is caring.
Thanks, guys. Bye.